Hi Zara, it's wonderful to see you again. How have you been since our last visit?
Yeah, I've been really good. Everything's been really positive. I've actually been going to some antenatal classes, which has been good. And I recently caught up with my sister who's also had a baby, and we were talking about her postpartum and breastfeeding experience. So that's been really interesting to hear, and it's made me so excited to meet my little one.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. I'm glad you've got such a strong support person by your side. What did that chat make you think about? Do you have any of your own thoughts about breastfeeding now?
Yeah, so I've done some research, and I'm just thinking, breastfeeding's not really sounding like it's for me, and I think I'm just going to go straight to formula.
Okay. Well, it's great to hear that you've started considering options which feel best for you. Would you mind though sharing a little bit more about what made you come to that decision about breastfeeding?
Yeah, so both my mum and my sister had, really traumatic experiences with the breastfeeding. It was really quite painful, and they were saying, they had a low supply. And I just think I personally don't want to go through that, so I'm just going to go straight to formula.
Well, that's really understandable. That sounds like they had a really awful experience. Are you concerned that you'll have a similar experience?
Well, yeah, I am. I mean, they've both had the same issue, and so I just don't want the stress of that either. So I think, if they've gone through that, then I'm probably going to go through that. So it just doesn't sound particularly nice. And, I've also found through some research that formula is pretty much the same as breast milk, if not better. So why not?
Would you be comfortable showing me some of the research you found about formula feeding?
Yeah, definitely. So I don't remember where or when I saw this, but I did see a social media post, saying that formula-fed babies are just as happy as babies who have breast milk, and they sleep better, which is really important for me. So I just don't see why, if that's what the research is showing, I should have to breastfeed.
Well, it's great to know that you've been doing some of your own research about this. That's really proactive of you. As you may know through your research, formula is a wonderful alternative for babies in the first 12 months of their life, as it provides the nutritional requirements they need, and can be very helpful in cases where mum can't breastfeed. Would you be open to me showing you some of the research I have found about breastfeeding? It's from the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare, so that's an official government website.
Okay. Yeah, I would be open to that. I'm quite, flexible with getting all the information. So yeah.
This report here, if you just want to have a look, so it does recognise that the composition of breast milk changes over a course of time to meet an infant's specific nutritional, immunological and developmental needs, and has even been associated with better health outcomes in adulthood years.
Okay, well, what are those health outcomes?
Yeah, it does. So breastfeeding has been linked to a number of improved health outcomes in both a child's adolescent and adulthood years. So that includes improved cognitive development, a reduced rate of being overweight and obese, and preventing chronic conditions like diabetes or asthma.
Oh wow, I didn't know it did all of that. So you said it can help with immunological needs? What does that mean?
Yeah, so breastfeeding actually helps to support an infant's immune system and can prevent infections like ear infections or just a common cold.
Oh wow. Look, well, obviously it sounds like breast milk is the best thing for my baby, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the most sustainable thing and joyful experience for me, considering after what my mum and sister have gone through, who's going to be able to help me at home, who will be there to support me, am I going to just be left to do it myself? Because I just don't see how that's going to work.
I completely understand your hesitance towards breastfeeding and why you would be thinking it won't be enjoyable and pleasant after hearing about your mum and sister's experience. From just talking to you today, I feel like you might be a little bit torn. Correct me if I'm wrong. A part of you wants to breastfeed, but the other part of you thinks it's going to be unpleasant and painful. But I want to reassure you that whatever you choose to do, I will be there to support you, okay? Both choices are fine. I just wanted to give you the education today about breastfeeding versus formula. I know you said you originally wanted to breastfeed. Are you concerned that you won't have the support if you explore this option?
I mean, yeah, I am.
I'm glad you shared that with me, Zara. I also want to reassure you that myself and other midwives would be there to support you as soon as you give birth with the breastfeeding. We want to make the transition into motherhood as easy as possible, so we would educate you on all things breastfeeding. In the case that you did have difficulties though, like your sister and your mum, there is other resources we can use and services. So for example, a lactation consultant, they specifically specialise in helping mums to breastfeed. So we could always refer you to them. Or you've got the Australian Breastfeeding Association. So that's a little call line that you can use as well. So if you need help very immediately, you can also use that.
Wow, I didn't realise that any of that was actually a thing. And, after talking to you today, it kind of has made me a bit more open to the idea of breastfeeding. Because it's nice to know, I guess, that I've got all of that support coming from, the hospital and things. Or I should say you guys.
Yeah, no, we would be here to support you. So I'm glad you're feeling a little bit more educated today about all of the resources that you will have following the birth of your little bubba. We've obviously talked about a lot of things today, so probably a little bit overwhelming. We've focused on formula versus breastfeeding. So what was the main takeaway from this? How are you feeling after this conversation?
I'm feeling better. I think, like I just said, a bit more open to the idea of breastfeeding, especially since that's actually what I really did want to do. Okay. I did want to give it a go. And look, I did kind of know about my mum and sister's experience, but I thought, I can do this. But just after listening to it, it kind of made me doubtful.
Scared you a little bit.
Yeah. But after, I guess, talking to you and knowing, what's available to me in terms of resources and the help that I'll have, and obviously all the benefits, I'm kind of more open to the idea. But I think I'd probably want to go home, do a bit more research first before, making any final decisions. Do you think?
Yeah,
okay?
No, that sounds like a very sensible idea. So how about next time we do our checkup in a couple of weeks? You can share some of the research you've found if you're comfortable with that, and then we can make a proper plan from there.
Yeah, perfect. I think maybe I'll do a pros and cons list.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Well, it's wonderful to see you. We'll catch up soon.
Perfect. Thank you.